Hi and welcome back to the channel. Happy 2021. I think this will be the first video of the year. Slightly later, sorry for the lack of content between the terrible weather and just life and lockdown and everything else. The motivation levels haven't been high, to be completely honest, especially to get out into the cold and the snow and the rain. So making the use of the good weather today to start our mini-series on the daily van build. So introduced the van in the first episode, bought it kind of the lug parts around for the Mark 1, but to be honest, I've fallen in love. Like it's a brilliant van, love it, and really what I want to do in this series is do a bit of a build of it, but very much on a budget. So the van was cheap, I got it at the right kind of money, so we're not going to be pouring silly money into it. So this series will be all about how can we improve on it and build on it with mods that don't cost the earth. So let's get started. Today we're going to be taking off the bumper, taking off the wings, treating some rust in underneath there, and if we get time, putting on the new wings. So let's get cracking. Alright, I just want to set a bit of context as well. So I have done some work to the van to date, just picking up an hour here and an hour there to start things moving. So I've done the insulation in the rear of the van. The rear doors got a new seal because there was water getting in, partly to do with the rear door not being aligned correctly, which then led me to a broken check strap, so that has been replaced. All minor stuff, but I feel like this is the first sort of major piece of work. I've also started stripping some of the interior components out of the van, mainly because it was a builder's van and they needed a serious clean to just use it in the meantime, but also in anticipation of some work that we're going to be doing further down the line. I also replaced the two standard seats, which you'll notice are out of a newer Caddy. The old ones were full of cigarette burns and other lovely stuff like that. So it's got two new seats. Got some footage just to set the context, set the scene of where we're at. Enjoy. Okay, first things first, let's get this old stuff off. Always nice to be able to do something like that because you know you're replacing them anyway. It always makes me laugh when you come across a sort of telltale sign that someone else has been working on the same area of whatever you're working on. So there should be a bolt in here. It's just really awkward to get to. It's like a Volkswagen thing. There's not a bolt in this one. There's a cable tie, which is brilliant. So this has been off. Makes my job easier now, but does mean that I have to add that to the list of parts to order. So that was significantly easier than I thought it was going to be. Someone had definitely had that bumper off before, so a couple of missing bolts into the brackets, so I'll have to replace them. But good, always like when a job is slightly easier than anticipated. So next thing, we're going to be taking the bumper supports off the old wings. So these will be coming off, just a few torques, and then we're going to crack on and getting the wings off. By the way, I haven't explained this yet. The van didn't come like this. You'll see what that's all about in a later video. But for now, let's get rid of it. Okay, so top tip, I undid all of the bolts that I could see on the inside of the arch. Didn't realise that there's actually two underneath where the quarter window is. So looked it up online. Thank you YouTube, thank you Caddy 2K for them. It says you can take this front window out. It's not bonded, it's just bolted in. So taking the A-trim pillar off, get this unbolted, get those last two, and that'll be the wing off. Always check for the last bolt. So this here, Volkswagen. Anyone who has Volkswagen, work that out. This thing is sopping wet, and that is the reason that the entire of this is rotten. Good job. So there we have it, first wing off. I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. Not going to film it. I'll see you at the end of that. So back in the game, that wing came off really easily as expected, which was great. Before we start putting the new ones on, a couple of wee bits of surface rust. Just going to grind them down with the trusty drill grinder and add some Hydrate 80 built hammer stuff again, just to stop that rust. Let's get cracking. Okay, so that's that done. 2 coats, put on within 20 minutes, grabbed a class cheese sandwich in the middle, which made it all the better. So now to get the wings back on, I will fire some primer over those wee bits, but it needs 24 hours to dry, so I'll do that tomorrow. You'll notice these are Tongyang wings, they're not genuine Volkswagen. Again, part of the I suppose purpose of this build is that it's on a budget. You know, when we built the Mark 1 and we're ordering parts for that, everything was genuine, but the genuine wings for that cost almost 10 times what these did. So I'm not expecting the fit to be absolutely perfect, but I must say I fitted a pair of these beforehand on a Passat estate, and with a bit of jiggling it was pretty great. So let's see how we get on. Alright, so there we have it. Wing on. Panel gaps are pretty good actually. Really the key to this is, you know, working at the top, then working at the back, then working at the front, and a bit of jigging, a bit of pulling, but it went on really well in the end. That's as far as I'm going to go today. I'm not going to put the inner arch in. Need to spray some of that primer tomorrow, and not going to do the front bumper because that's going to come up in the next video. So I'm going to go do the other side. Thank you very much again for tuning in, for watching, for your support. If you like this, please give us a thumbs up, fire a comment down as to where you think the direction of the Caddy should go. Maybe you learned something, or maybe you didn't. Tell me that too. But again, thank you very much for your time. Have a great week. Cheers.